From the tender age of 7, the question that echoed through my early years was, what do you want to be when you grow up? I vividly recall a defining moment in a crowded classroom. The teacher was asking each student about their future careers, and each student confidently declared their future aspirations. Doctors, lawyers, astronauts, race car drivers, you name it. And then there was me, a wide-eyed 7-year-old at the beginning of her journey. My response? It was a very hesitant, I don't know. Her follow-up question, well, what are you passionate about? Stung me even further, and my repeated, innocent reply, I don't know, earned me a sympathetic, hopefully you'll know soon. I was so embarrassed, which made my personal worth diminish as if I was somewhat less intelligent than other kids who had quick, impressive answers. When I wanted to seek guidance, I turned to my mother, who, like many Middle Eastern moms, had her heart set on me becoming a doctor. So for years, I clung to this idea of a passion that was never really mine, simply because I didn't know what else was out there for me. It wasn't until last year that it hit me. My true passion wasn't in the field itself. It was in the joy of helping others. But that realization came with its own set of challenges. I had confined myself to one singular path for so many years, avoiding exploration of different avenues. And with just 1 year left to plan courses for grade 11 and 12, I had realized how my early decision limited my exploration of potentially greater fits for my interests. My awareness of those consequences pressured me to have my whole life figured out before it even started. But that pressure didn't just come from the classroom or my parents' hopes riding on me. Society, with its unrealistic success stories spread everywhere, and an expectation that's all about picking a lane and sticking to it, definitely didn't help. It's like we're expected to have a clear path to success from the get-go, and proposing uncertainty or change means falling behind. However, I'm here to tell you that it's absolutely okay not to have all the answers at once, because life is about developing those answers along the way. Let me prove that to you real quick. Steve Jobs. Most of us know him as the visionary who transformed personal computing, music, and phones. But did you know that in his youth, his heart was set on Eastern mysticism? He even dropped out of college to go seek enlightenment in India. Technology and design, those came later, as he explored the field, turning an interest into groundbreaking innovations that literally changed the world. If you're sitting here and thinking, okay, well, Steve Jobs is probably just an exception to the rule, what about J.K. Rowling? The mind behind Harry Potter's? J.K. Rowling's journey was anything but a straight career path. She had studied French and the classics, worked as a researcher and a bilingual secretary, and faced numerous personal and professional challenges. Her leap into writing wasn't immediate. It was her exploration, honed over years, that led to the creation of Harry Potter. To prove it to you even further, I want you to consider the book, Hidden Potential, by Adam Grant, an organizational psychologist. In his book, he explains how success isn't a product of inborn talent or a predetermined path, rather a motivation and a readiness to explore continuous journeys of learning. He explains how you cannot assess your passions without exploration, simply because passion isn't a trophy to chase. It's more like a river that flows and changes directions as you journey through life. Another example I can give you is that of my own mother. Remember her? The one who's so eager for me to become a doctor? Well, I don't think I did my mother's story justice in the beginning. So allow me to tell you more about her. Fatma al-Tawi grew up in a small neighborhood in Alexandria, Egypt. My mother dreamt of becoming a doctor, which explains the help there. Her efforts had her graduate top of her school with a 99.99% average. Astonishing. My mother's friends were very Mexican. It wasn't until my grandfather advised her otherwise and told her to pursue nursing instead due to their inability to afford medical school expenses. Despite my mom's dreams, that's exactly what she did. But I'm not telling you this story to feel bad about my mom. My mother had always told me this one advice, which I value so much. She always tells me to never let my circumstances determine what I can achieve in life. And I know that advice came from experience. Because after my mom did her bachelor's, she went on to do her master's, then went on to earn her PhD, became an expert in the field, publishing numerous research papers. She didn't let her circumstances determine what she can achieve in life. And let me tell you, her goal in life was excellence. And I can tell you confidently that she achieved that. But my mother's dreams didn't just end with her career. She had dreamt of securing a safe and prosperous future for her children. And her efforts landed her a professorship position in a university in Saudi Arabia. That's when my mother discovered her love for teaching. You know, I used to see my mother thriving, literally thriving, when she used to instruct her students in their nursing journeys. You know what I call that? I call that passion. So to my mother, who thinks I may not be following her path just because I'm not going out into healthcare, I say I am. In every way that counts, walking in your footsteps, your journey of adapting, overcoming, relentlessly pursuing a better life, and most importantly, the full-hearted passion of living a life that means something is by far the greatest legacy I could ever hope to inherit. You know, we can have really extreme beliefs in our societies nowadays. There's one belief that doing what society expects of you is more important than following your own interests. But that's completely untrue. Take my own experience. My mom saw a future for me in healthcare, a path many of us are steered towards just because most of the time it's stable and respected. But that kind of thinking puts us in a box, making us miss out on what we can truly explore and find our niches in. In the field of societal entrepreneurship, they're merging their personal interests with trying to make the world a better place for all of us. Take the organization Ashoka. They're helping people use what they like to tackle big issues in their communities. So it's becoming clear that you don't have to choose between making a difference and exploring to see what you like. They can be interconnected. And then you have the complete opposite side of the spectrum, where the #1 advice they give to young people is find your passion. Sounds like great advice, doesn't it? No, actually, it's not great advice, but that's not according to me. That's according to Stanford University. They actually did a study about this to see how people's mindsets of passions limited them. And the reason why I don't think that find your passion is a great advice is because simply it sends a message that passion is this trophy or hidden treasure that you're supposed to follow and look for. It's fixed, you have to discover it. But no, actually, most of the time, passion is developed. So in their study, in their experiment, they split 2 groups of students. One group was mostly made up of science students, and this group had a very fixed mindset of what passion can be. So what they like is what they'll always like. And the other group was made up of art students, art and humanities. And this group had a very growth mindset of what passion can be. So they gave both groups opposing tasks. The science group took tasks that were related to humanities and arts, and the humanities and arts group took tasks that were related to sciences. And here's what happened. The group with the fixed mindsets, the science students, really lacked in perseverance. Most of them didn't even finish the tasks because, well, they knew it was just an experiment and it doesn't really matter, but I didn't give it a try. The art students, on the other hand, with the growth mindset, most of them scored really high on perseverance, and most of them finished all the tasks. And when interviewed later, they said that those tasks actually sparked some type of interest in them towards sciences. So perhaps, instead of telling our youth to go out and find their passions, so poetic, Maybe we should tell them to go and discover. Maybe we should tell them to go and develop their passions instead. This rapidly changing world, with almost unlimited opportunities, gives us a chance to redefine how we nurture and understand passion. A few ways we can do this as youth is through volunteering. Although it might sound cliche in your head, that's because we're truly privileged. Volunteering can enrich us with experiences that can fuel earning our passions. Whether it's helping out at a food bank, participating in environmental cleanups, or teaching skills to underprivileged youth. These activities help us to connect with societal needs, apply our current skills, and gain new ones in real-world contexts. We also shouldn't be overlooking the resources readily available to us, such as school clubs, mentors, and teachers. Joining a debate club can fuel a passion for advocacy and public speaking, while joining a robotics club can spark some type of interest towards engineering and design. The guidance from our mentors and teachers is also very crucial. They can provide their own advice, share their own experiences, and connect us with individuals that we might have not been able to connect with on our own. Also remember that you don't have to have it all figured out by 7, 17, or 27. If you venture down a pathway and halfway there realize that this career is actually not for you, don't be afraid to pivot and redirect. If you find yourself questioning the path you chose out of high school, don't be chained to it out of sense of obligation, because it is a misconception that you've wasted your time by changing your career. Take my mentor as an example, Coach Haka, which I know is laughing in the audience right now. His journey started out in Morocco, where he studied engineering. Then, when he came here with his family, he explored some different fields. And he actually found that he has a strong interest for developing leaders. He sought out the experience to do so, to be able to join a career like that. And he started his own business and not-for-profit aimed at growing organization and developing leaders. But here's where it gets interesting. When you ask him, don't you regret all these days, sleepless nights? Engineering is one of the hardest majors out there. His answer is always a clear not at all. His engineering days honed his critical thinking skills, a skill that's invaluable in his current career. So this means it's absolutely fine for us to pivot and redirect, because remember this, every experience equips our journeys in ways we might not anticipate. So reflecting on my own journey, and the journeys of those who inspired me, such as my mother and leaders in various fields, I've come to see that passion is actually not the destination. It's the trip itself. And allow me to prove it to you one last time. I want you to raise your hand if you believe in people's abilities to grow and change over time. Okay. If most of us believe in our abilities, that our abilities for growth is limitless, why should our passions be any different? I mean, think about it. If we, as complex beings, are constantly evolving, shouldn't our passions also evolve with us? If we embrace the idea that our passions are as dynamic as we are, what kind of future can we create? So to everyone, feeling trapped between the expected and the unknown, I'll leave you with this. I want us to dare to shift, to explore, and to grow. Be like the river that flows. Our passions, like us, are ever evolving. And in that evolution, there's a whole world of possibilities waiting to be discovered. Thank you.